Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games for the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me as usual, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And all right, we have a lot to talk about on this episode as there's, after Tokyo Game Show Fallout, talking about the state of play, the Xbox show, some of the other ones that had events as well. The one company that didn't have an event, they canceled it pretty much like almost right before it was supposed to air because they then announced that Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed. We'll get into the story going on with that. Both Mark and I have played Minute 4 ReFantazio's demo. I think, did you complete it, Mark?
No, I got near the end though.
Okay, I whatever, got to the end where it stops you from playing. We'll get into that. And Mark's been playing Tomba, and there's some other news as well. We'll get into all those things and more right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
And well, just so we can go ahead and get this here out of the way, even though we are not live today, we did a pre-recorded show because we had to do it a little bit later than usual. But if you do want to watch live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, just go search W2 Network. Usually we're doing it around somewhere between 4:30 and 6 o'clock Eastern. You can catch us on those. If not, you can always catch us on demand on the YouTube channel, W2 Network. There, if you subscribe on the YouTube channel, you get everything we do here with the Video Games to the Max, but also the Riley Broadcasting folks. They're actually recording the Wild Robot review for the movie podcast right now. And then we also got the Otaku Cafe doing the anime show. So if you're love anime, and especially if you stay up with the newest stuff, with all the new season coming up, they're going to have all the fall shows they're reviewing. Plus, I'm sure they're going to do like their awards for the spring and all that stuff pretty soon here too. So be sure to go check them out. And of course, Ratchet Broadcasting folks, you can check them out too. And they do great stuff, not just movies, but TV shows, metal music, all kinds of other entertainment stuff. They keep up with that. So make sure to check them out for sure. And also you can listen on podcasts before I forget. Also, it comes a little bit later on podcasts. I try to make it pretty quick, the editing and all that, to get it out the same day that we do the episode. But sometimes it comes out the day after. And also, we're going to start having clips of the episodes as well on the YouTube channel. So if you are one of those folks that don't have like an hour and a half to listen to the whole show, or you don't like skipping around, I'm going to start doing clips starting with this episode. So see how it goes. But yeah, that's it for the housekeeping. I guess we'll go ahead and start with the games that we are playing here. And I guess we'll start with the one that we're both been playing. You're a big Persona Shin Megami Tensei fan. You're just playing Vengeance not too many podcast episodes ago.
Yep.
So this is from the folks that make the Persona 3, 4, and 5 team mostly. And you could definitely tell there's the Persona influences in it and everything. What did you think? It's a long demo. It took about like 6 or 7 hours to get through, because it lets you play the whole prologue, what they consider the prologue, and then like the first 3 days of once you start using the actual calendar system, where you can decide what you want to do that day. So it lets you preview kind of both. What did you think of the game, and are you more excited or about the same or less excited after playing it? Or
I thought it's pretty good. It does have a lot of Persona influences, but it's not like a direct like, oh, this is just a new setting for Persona.
Right, definitely not.
Battle system's decent. I kind of like the world, the real time aspect of it a little. I think it's quite good. I really like the job system, but I think that's going to be pretty grindy. Or if you want to unlock all the jobs and do all the get them all like rank 20 or something. It's like, all right, that's going to take a while.
Yeah, especially because like it didn't take very long for them to pretty quickly there. You get a job, you get a I guess like a quest where it tells you, oh, if you want to kind of develop the job, make sure you get it up to like level 10.
Yeah, it's a rank
Yeah,
healer, or healer rank 10.
right. So it doesn't waste any time in having you do that pretty quickly. I mean, you could probably get it to rank 10 if you keep just playing the demo part.
Well, you can also
But
get items
yeah,
to like just rank you up one, or
yeah,
which is kind
those
of helpful.
the hero.
Hero incense or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly. That just like levels it. Like you get 100 experience every time you use one.
Yeah,
And you get a lot just in that demo part. So I imagine in the full game, probably doing quests and other things, you get some
yeah,
fairly frequently. So yeah, it's not like it feels like they're not like asking you to grind like too much, I guess, maybe in this game compared to the other ones, perhaps. But I guess we'll see once that fully comes out.
right.
Um, like I like the job system too. Obviously, it's different than doing the traditional like romance system, which that is the reward for like leveling up the relationships. Is you may get some other jobs out of it. It's not necessarily progressing the relationships in like the traditional Persona way. It seems like. What did
I
you
mean,
think? Go ahead, sorry.
there are still character relationships, so it's like, okay, well, the
Right.
fairy's up to like level 2 now. Like,
Yeah, I think I got Gallica up to like level 2, and that's the only one that I was
right?
able to level up. I'm not sure if the other ones you can do it in
No,
the
I
demo or
think it's
not.
right.
But
What were
yeah,
you
they
gonna say?
do. Go ahead.
No, I said, what were you gonna say about you? I kind of cut you off.
Oh yeah, what do you think about the? I mean, the battle system is kind of a lot similar to Persona, but like there are some differences. Mainly the being able to knock out enemies before you get to the battle.
Well,
Do you like that or?
no, that's kind of what Persona would do also. Like once you reach like a certain high level, like if you just hit an enemy, they just disappear and you get the experience and items from it.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it is kind of similar. Like the big difference to me is like there's no like concept of like a summon or negotiating with demons. Like there's no demons at all. So
Yeah,
it's just you and your party or your human party, fighting everything.
yeah. Just from getting the different jobs, you get the different demons or whatever that
Yeah,
way. Yeah, there's no like you're not gonna be able to go fight a goblin and then all of a sudden decide to make it part of your group or whatnot.
right.
That's not in here. Um,
I
did
mean,
you go ahead?
the funny thing to me is like they do try to get away from like there's no Aji and Bufu, fire and ice spells.
Yeah.
I think it's called like bot for fire and something else for ice. But to still have like Dakunda for like negating stat, you know, uh, decreases, and like some of the stuff is still the same. Like Terrakaja still like increased attack power.
Yeah, I noticed that too because that one's there in the seeker one that you get, or
Yeah.
the main one for the main character. Uh, the Did you like that? Did you get ambushed by any of the enemies, or do you always like hit them before? Or
No, I've gotten hit plenty of times. Yeah, and it kind of sucks because they do take a good chunk of your health out.
yeah, that's what I was
Uh,
gonna say. Like that, you definitely want to if you're gonna be playing that game of trying to hit them before they hit you. Make sure you actually do it because they're gonna
right.
they're gonna hit you pretty hard if you don't.
I mean, I guess the
Um,
benefit also is like you are very nimble, much more than like a Persona game or at least
yeah.
Persona 5. So you can dodge around, and
Mhm.
did he in that cathedral? Did he run up against any of those like red flowers
No, I think I
that
didn't.
like keep spawning in enemies?
Uh, I probably did, and I might have just gone past it. But
Okay, yeah, like those things, like you're told, like, hey, these things just keep spawning enemies, so like try to knock it down, and you try to, but like this thing like attacks back and doesn't start a battle. It just like hits you, hits you in the main world. So you really
yeah,
got to dodge around it and dodge the enemies as well. So you don't want to get into a battle. Uh, so yeah,
what did you
but you
think
can.
of the voice casting? Having your main character has a voice now.
It's fine. Good on them. I think it's been a little too long. I mean, like, because it's funny, like the Persona anime TV shows, your main character obviously talks, just not in the games.
Right.
So it'll be
I
funny
think
when.
it helps better with the dialogue too, because there's certain things where you make the choices, and it's actually good to hear them actually say it. It doesn't
Right.
sometimes when it's just reading the text, it's not as funny or
I mean,
doesn't
it'll be
ring the
funny if
same.
they ever release like a Half-Life anime and like Samuel Jackson is going to be voicing Gordon Freeman.
Yeah. Do you like the story so far that we've gotten to experience, or
Very anime-like. Setting up a
yeah,
big competition with like you getting more popular. Uh, that's kind of an interesting concept. Like ranking up basically and getting you more mag, which increases your the amount of you can sell or the amount of stuff your power to unlock the jobs.
yeah, I agree. I like it just from it's different in that okay, they do it. They hide it behind the facade of you're electing your king or whatever because of what happened. But it's a good way to kind of get you to always want to do something. I wonder if they're gonna keep like updating you throughout the story. Um, I'm assuming he's always gonna sort of be step to step with you depending on what you do. But yeah, I do like the premise of it, just the way it starts out and the characters. They do a quick one, really. They don't take very long to kind of already do some twists just in the prologue itself. So there's definitely some people that, and this does carry over, by the way. So if you don't know, it is worth playing the demo because you can carry that same save over. And then obviously, if you save beforehand, once you get to the calendar stuff, you can. I'm thinking about doing that before we get to the October 11th when the game comes out, of going back and maybe deciding on doing some things I didn't do, and then having
Yeah,
a save for that too, depending on which one I wanted to do on that. Um, Looks like, I mean, I like the way the traveling system in the world too. Just you see the thing, you go there, you have to kind of decide how many days it's going to take, just like the Persona similar
right.
on that. Just it obviously looks different because it's a different setting, but yeah.
I do
Go
I do
ahead.
think it's funny that humans are the bad guys.
Yep. And then the setup for it is that the book that he has is supposed to be kind of like our world or
Oh,
whatever, and yeah.
although like they don't explain what your character is. They just keep saying like it's an Ida or I think that's the name, but it's like okay, but I looked in the glossary and it ain't in there. So
Yeah, I guess it's like one of those, like he's the last of his kind or kind of thing. Yeah,
no,
they
if you
don't really
meet like at least one
explain.
more. I met at least one more in the game world. Like it's just like a nondescript NPC though. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you're not
they make it
like
to where like apparently he's like the most hated of all of them, all the different races that are in the game.
yeah.
It's you know,
But it seems good. Or yeah, like I liked it quite a bit. Uh I don't think I like the town though. Like like it's a little confusing or just a little busy. Uh and I actually kind of hate the UI. I think it's very confusing.
I can see that in some spots. Yeah, there's it's very colorful, very out there. You're gonna have to, you know, they
And
definitely do try to make it stylish. Like, and I like the way it looks when you do like the end battle screen. Like that looks cool.
yeah,
But
like I initially thought like, oh, you could just unlock jobs as you go along, but it's like no, you have to go back to that academia place and
mhm.
that's where you put it in. But like they don't explain that place at the start or like that well.
Yeah, once you go back to that character like a couple times, that's when they finally explain. They start explaining stuff more. Um,
Yeah.
which they do have their Velvet Room equivalent person. So,
I mean, it's also funny because, like, I don't know. I think the story telegraphs fairly easily. Like, you're going to wake the prince up, and he's either going to be evil, or the king will, turn him evil. Like,
yeah,
and
or
you'll find
something like
out, like,
that.
that the guy you're chasing is, like, somehow a good guy.
Wouldn't be surprised. Like
Yeah.
he's trying. There's a reason why he's doing it, and it has to do with the king was actually this or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the music's awesome. Just a bit more. It's not the stylish jazz that you're used to probably, or the equivalent in the other games. It's a bit more gaudy,
Yeah, it's more
more
regal
medieval.
sounding, and yeah, like
So,
chanting and shit. So
but yeah, and then it still added like a sort of like a rap kind of part to the battle theme where like you can hear them like kind of like talking to you or whatever it's supposed to be like. Which is funny, but yeah, I'm excited I'm a lot more excited about the game than I was before I played the demo. Now I'm kind of like, I think I might get this and wait on Silent Hill 2 remake for sure, since they're coming out a couple days within each other. So
believe me, that Silent Hill game is not for you at all. So
I liked Silent Hill I don't play 2. I played the original. I liked it fairly decently, but yeah, I get you. I'll wait because I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be mixed and not one of those games that's going to be overly, lauded or whatever, like Echoes of Wisdom is right now, which is funny because of Metaphor's demo coming out. I feel like I haven't seen this overwhelming, like everybody's playing Echoes of Wisdom on my timeline, but it feels like, it's getting well received, so people are enjoying it for what it is. One even I haven't been I played a little bit more Visions of Mana, but there's not much more to say about that, honestly. Anything else you've been playing? You said you mentioned Tomba.
yeah, I got the special edition because I messed up kind of. Well, Jens kind of got it, and she's in his copy, but I got that game, like I got the physical edition, the limited run, expensive one, and I somehow thought it was gonna be out like next month. So that's why I kind of held off getting like the digital copy because it was on
Yeah.
sale a few weeks ago for like 15. And then I looked at the store page again, and it's like, no, the physical versions due out like May 2025. I was like, well, that's quite a ways different than
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the digital one. I got it like Friday night. No, wait, I got it Saturday night at like 10 p.m. I stayed up till 3 a.m. playing it,
Oh wow.
and then the next day I 100%ed it.
Damn. Didn't take.
I remembered a lot of stuff, which helps, and I did follow a few guides because one of the trophies in that game is complete every event,
Oh
which
wow.
might be fine, but there's 3 things that throw you. First is the event page has like gaps in it, because it's kind of split up into like main story goals or quests, and then like side quests, and there are like 4 empty spaces separating the two, and it's like, if you don't like, why is that there? Like, couldn't you just put a line or something? Because I remember back in the day trying to play it, and I'm like, what are these 4 fucking spaces? Like,
Yeah.
and then if you do certain things in that game, and you don't know what you're doing, you can screw yourself very badly. Where to the point where like you can't finish an event or you can't unlock a next
Oh
event.
wow.
So like one of the events, there's an early level in that game where it's just a few bridges and like this like rolling pin like covered with like spikes. So if it hits you, you get hurt. And eventually you can get weapons that like destroy it. So it's like, okay, I did a good job. Mission accomplished. But the event with that fucking rolling pin thing is you have to hit it 3 times with your basic weapon. That knocks off the spikes, and then you push it into the water, going from like left to right. And it's like that is not telegraphed at all. Like if if you don't know what that is, you'll either keep getting hit by that thing and just get frustrated and not screw with it, or you will figure out a way to destroy it, and then that's it. You can't resurrect that thing. You get one shot.
And then you have to
So
do the level all over again, or?
no. If you go back in the level, that's it. Like it's just gone. You get one shot.
Oh,
Period.
wow. Okay, so it's not like,
So yeah, like if you don't do this in this one specific thing, that's you're gonna miss an event, and then you're only gonna have 129 events out of the 130 that he needs a trophy for.
oof.
So
And then you'd
yeah,
have to like redo a whole save for that to
yeah.
do it again.
I messed
Wow.
up a few events and I had to do that. I was like, well, and then I learned eventually like I might want to keep saving more and more often. So if I
Yeah.
have to go back, I'm not using this save from 4 hours ago.
Did it take you like a long time to have to
So
redo, or?
yeah, Sunday took me a few times because I had to redo something twice. So I lost like 2 hours of progress one time and about an hour and a half on the other. So by the third time, I was really following a guide because it's like I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I'm surprised you. That's
But
crazy.
that's a consequence of like that game came out in '98. So
Yeah,
I'm sure at the
true.
time they didn't think anything of it.
Oh
But
no, definitely not.
and there is a somewhat generous like rewind function. Like I think it's like up to a minute or maybe like a minute and a half, where
Yeah.
it saves every like 10 seconds, I think. So like there's like a race you have to do with this stupid car, and you can just keep rewinding it over and over to get like the medal you want. And that's like another good example of like you have to do this race, and it has a bronze medal, a silver medal, and a gold medal, and there are events or quests for each medal. So the first time I did it, I got a gold medal, but it doesn't activate the other two events. It just says you got the gold medal. So all right, cool. Then I got to go try for the silver medal, and then I got to go try for the bronze medal, and it's like,
So you have to purposely do worse to get the other medals?
yeah,
Oh wow.
you just have to
Is
get it
that
between like, yeah,
and you have to do that for every single one?
just for those medal events, yeah,
Oh, okay, okay.
right.
So it's not all okay.
No, but yeah, that game's really like the combat's still great. I learned there were a few tricks I kind of picked up along the way. Uh, still really good, I
Yeah.
think. Uh, and yeah, I got the platinum, so I'm happy.
Ah, there you go.
Yep.
That's good. It feels good when you can already get the platinum. And
Right, and it's not an especially hard game. Like aside from like certain events dicking you over, like that game is very easy to play. But
yeah,
you'll just
makes
miss
sense.
out on one or two things, and then it's like, damn it, I didn't shrink the pig in the first screen or first level, and
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
Well,
But yep,
been playing anything else, or?
more of that Zelda game. I finished my review of Final Fantasy 16. I didn't finish the game, but I finished my review.
Eh, well, I mean, you'd already done that with the PS5 version,
Yeah,
so that's a bit different than.
right.
Do you wind up covering the DLC, or?
No, I just because it's not baked in 100%. Like if it was, I might have looked at it, but you can buy the game without it. So
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, just the way they were promoting it at first made it seem like they only gave you the special edition, and then
right.
when you mentioned that, I was like, "Oh, okay, they do."
If they gave you the special edition for $50, it'd probably be a bit more of an attractive product, I think. But
Yeah.
even like $50 for this base game is decent.
No, yeah, exactly. You're still getting what, $20 off,
Yeah,
and you can buy the DLC if you want, whatever. So,
right.
all right. Well, I think that'll do it for us talking about the games that we're playing here.
Yep.
I guess before we get into the Tokyo Game Show like events, especially because the Sony one is like almost a week old at this point. Let's
And better.
just do the Assassin's Creed news, and then we can kind of go back a little bit.
Sure.
So if you haven't heard, like I mentioned at the beginning, Ubisoft was supposed to do a live stream that was going to be mainly, I think, if not all, mainly focused on Assassin's Creed Shadows. I mean,
Yeah.
it's based in feudal Japan. Why not? I think people were waiting on getting more info about the game, especially since it's supposed to release in close to like a month and a half
Right.
from then. And then all of a sudden, they just decided that same day they were just canceling it. And rumors started going around. Then it wasn't actually until the ending of Tokyo Game Show, basically, that Ubisoft came out and said, "Oh, the game is officially delayed until February 14th of 2025 now." So it's supposed to come out November 15th. Now it's coming out a whole many months later, especially in 2025. But that's not only that. I'll have a link in the description to the Insider Gaming article. Tom Henderson wrote an article today, kind of with sources that he talked to at Ubisoft, basically saying that this has been something that they were hoping for a while now, and that finally the devs were able to get it pushed through to the higher ups. They've been wanting this delay because the game wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. There was a lot of things they were making changes on, gameplay changes to Yasuke or Yusuke, that obviously was coming through from the Japanese reaction to the game. Apparently, also they took longer to bring in the historic people than they normally do for the Assassin's Creed games. Like normally they're involved way earlier in development, and they brought them in a little bit much later than they normally do for the Assassin's Creed games. So that kind of was causing issues because they were getting more friction back from the historic people and from obviously the once they got out into the wild, then Japanese people were kind of seeing it and reacting to that. So they did go back and make some changes to Yasuke, but they're not going to remove him. There was rumors going around, I think, from people that were hoping more than actually thinking about the well-being of the game and all that. Not to mention it would take months,
Right.
way longer than this delay, way longer to actually remove him and just have the one character, because the whole game is made between the two characters. So, yeah, it's crazy that they just all of a sudden announced it, and there's a lot going on. Then all of a sudden, the Ubisoft shareholders were upset. They're going to do like a full review of Ubisoft internally, because it's not only this; it's Star Wars Outlaws did not sell as much as they were expecting. Apparently, they only sold 1 million right now, and it's been out a month now, so that is not doing well. But also, I mean, we talked about it. My whole idea of, I'm gonna go and spend the 17 or $18 to go play Star Wars Outlaws, and then I'll just do it with both of these when Assassin's Creed comes out. That's what they were doing. They were trying to push people to go get Ubisoft Plus, and I think that either people didn't buy the game or people just said forget it when the game didn't do as well critically.
Yeah.
And then obviously not being on Steam is a big thing too. They said that was also something else they're going to start doing with Assassin's Creed. Now they want to make sure it releases on Steam day one instead of having it release months later, like with Star Wars Outlaws. Now that Lando DLC is releasing in November, around the same time that Assassin's Creed was going to come out, and that's when they're going to put it on Steam. Is that same day that they're releasing the Lando DLC? I think November 21st or something like that. So a lot going on there. What did you think when you read this, heard this? Yeah.
A few things. First is like I really hate the discourse with Shadows. Like, oh, Yusuke's not a historical character, or there were no black samurai. It's like, yo, dog, in Valhalla, you were playing the reincarnation of fucking Thor. Like this ain't exactly a historical game anymore. Like you can be a historical, have it be set in a historical time period, and not have a completely believable or historically accurate character. Like who fucking cares? Just come out and say you don't want to play.
Well, I
Black.
got to remember, Japan cares a lot more about its history and all that stuff and making sure it's correct than
But
say other
Assassin's Creed is
cultures.
not like a huge
Yeah.
franchise in Japan.
It's
Like,
not, but when you're representing a culture in a game and saying that this guy was actually involved in history, yeah.
You didn't hear any of the Norse people or bitching about Ivor and Valhalla.
I mean,
Or
but I think it's different because
or the Haitians and with Freedom Cry. Here's the
yeah.
thing: the Japanese people might have a point. It's kind of immaterial because it's more the American side bitching about this crap. And it's like,
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
just
definitely
come out
that.
and say you don't want to play a black character, that you're racist, and we can just move the fuck on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need this pretense, like, oh, it's not historically relevant, or like, and then nitpicking the game to death about historical inaccuracies. It's like, get a life, please.
And also the fact that I don't understand why, if you're Ubisoft, don't even acknowledge this stuff. Like, don't acknowledge that the chatter from the grifters is actually causing problems, right? Like, you're giving them the ammo that they want. That
By even acknowledging it, like, you just feeding the fire.
Exactly.
Like,
so it's
I think I forget which one. I think it's Liberty Cry. That was a Vita game, and it transitioned to console. Like, in that game, you're literally playing like an African American woman who is like, masquerading occasionally as like a slave, and it's like to my mind, that's one of like the very few or very first like games where you're playing like a woman of color, and no one batted a fucking eye then. And it's because they didn't make a big deal out of it because, it's not a big deal. And if racist or sexist don't like to play a game where you're a person of a different color or a person of a different sex, okay, move the fuck on.
Yeah, we're gonna run into the same issue when we talk about the big announcer from the State of Play. That immediately when that was announced, that also became a thing.
Right.
And it's just like, listen, y'all got to understand that, and even they acknowledge it. Like, we're not here trying to appeal to a certain audience. This is what they wanted to do. Listen, is there DEI stuff with these publishers? Yes. Square Enix admitted to some of that. I think when they did the Dragon Quest thing at Tokyo Game Show, that they've had to change some of the look of the characters because Western audience Square, all that stuff.
That's the thing, is like, I think some of that stuff actually is dumb, like replacing the sexier costumes and Dead Rising for less sexy versions. It's like, who cares? To my mind, like, who cares about the first thing? Like, I think it's like dumb that they did it in the first place, or that they had to change it, because it's like, well, okay, it's not.
I mean, Dragon Quest I can understand, but like Dead Rising I don't, because that's a mature game. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But
as far as the other stuff, I did see like the Outlaw stuff for a second, and I was just like, I mean, they have like they got a roadmap to fix in the game, but it's just a bunch of vague promises. Like, oh, the first patch will be like stability and improvement, and the second patch will be like, ease of life, or or ease of use, or it's not state of life, but
quality of life.
Quality of life, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, boy, you guys are being vague as hell about what you're gonna do, aren't you? Like,
yeah, because they don't want to promise a bunch of stuff and they don't actually get to that.
Here's the thing: they should be promising stuff. I don't mean promising the moon. I mean promising, like, hey, vendors aren't gonna suck, or some of these stupid challenge missions a little easier, because some of them are like balls hard.
Well, I mean, and part of it is also like they just had a lot of bugs when it came out. So that's one thing that they cannot have. And they mentioned it. Evimo mentioned it. Like, they cannot have a buggy game at launch because they're not going to give you a second chance. Like, your game has to be awesome from the beginning.
Yeah, I was
So
playing it. I booted it up a few nights ago before I got Tomba, just because I got nothing else to do, and
right.
I was on Tatooine, and I fast traveled to like the little sandcrawler camp, or where the sandcrawler is with the Jawas, and I spawned inside the sandcrawler,
Mhm.
uh,
Oh wow.
which is something you're not supposed to be able to fucking do. Like I was just stuck
Right.
there,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is cool, and then I eventually had to like fast travel to like a different point, and then I was like outside, but it's like, well, okay, that happened.
Yeah. That seems
Like
like.
I really think that, well, I think Ubisoft, they're not done as a company, but like their stock is terrible. And if I was Eve, I'd be, writing my resignation letter, or like writing my letter about, oh, I tried to support this company or did the best I could, because I don't think he's gonna last too much longer. I think their push to Ubisoft Premium or Plus or whatever the fuck they're calling it was a bad move. They don't have
Mhm.
they don't have the amount of games that it requires, or the number of games.
Yeah. No, I
And
mean, it's just like that's really hard to do when. I mean, I wonder what the subscription rate is for EA Play
right,
because,
I
well, for
imagine it's
one, EA
higher.
Play is cheaper, right? But
I imagine EA is higher just because they got all the sports idiots playing their games. So
yeah, that too, and also they tied it with Game Pass, so you got a lot of subscriptions that way. It's just Ubisoft Plus is also not available on PlayStation, which is your highest console seller by a
right.
large margin. So it's only PC, I think, mobile and Xbox. So like you're not even and like you
Oh,
said, it's just they don't have the amount of games that come out to sit there
right.
and promote people to like all those
Or
games are one and done, right? You play Prince of Persia, you play Star Wars, and you play maybe Assassin's Creed you played a couple times, whatever. Those are done. You're done with those games, and that's it. Like you
well, here's the
already,
thing.
yeah,
I'm still playing Valhalla. Like every day, I boot it up just for like the daily mission, even though today it's busted for some reason. I'll play for 5 or 10 minutes, do it, and then turn it back off. I don't need to play a game every day.
yeah,
I don't know why they like. It's not an online game. Like there's no like player retention, and I don't think. I think like the way they make games, that's been a problem for years. Like the old
mhm,
Ubisoft formula. It just got like locked into this one design document, and that was it, which turned people off. Like Jens, he doesn't want to play Star Wars. He wants to play Star Wars because it's Star Wars, not because of the actual good gameplay.
right,
And them going like, "Oh, we're gonna put all of our games on Steam now." It's like you should have done
you
that 10 years ago when you
exactly. She
were,
should have done that
like
years ago. Yeah,
your games used to be on Steam day and date, or at least pretty soon. Like so, I think they're just continually fucking up, and even like not giving developer or not giving customers what they want. Like
yeah,
business people or developers don't want to see like, or there's always that adage of like, they don't want to give you what you want, like or it's like the customer. The customer's not always right, but when you get enough customers wanting something, shouldn't that clue you in? Like, hey, if we make this, they may actually buy it. Like,
right.
look at Splinter Cell. They could have made a good Splinter Cell game instead of making X Defiant, instead of making that other bad team-based, game,
Skull and
instead of making,
Bones.
yeah, well, Skull and I can forgive Skull and Bones partially because like I think at the time they thought like this might be a cool idea, and they were kind of forced to make it because of that Shanghai government deal. Like they had to put it
Yeah.
out, but
But it got it put in development hell and went all through that,
yeah,
and that cost them a lot
I
of
don't even.
money.
I don't forgive all Skull and Bones. I always
Yeah.
laugh when I see it in the store, uh, but it's like you guys like dicked around too much. So this is
Yeah.
your $2.30 stock price is entirely justified now.
No, definitely. There's stock prices on a low, and like you mentioned, Eve's probably sitting there looking at things. I wonder how long Tencent and the rest of anybody else that's involved here is going to give them. Like, how well does Assassin's Creed Shadows have to sell to where Ubisoft gets to keep their autonomy?
That's
You know,
another good
yeah,
example. Is if that game had came out a year after Valhalla, it would have been really great. But it's coming out, a decade after people were practically begging Ubisoft to make, a
but I
samurai
think to be
game.
fair, this was always their like break glass if you need a
Yeah, in
game
case,
that's going to sell a
yeah,
million,
break
gazillion
break glass in
copies.
case of emergency. The problem is we have Ghost of Tsushima, we have Black Kong or Wukong, whatever the hell the game is.
Yeah.
We have other samurai games, or even like Neo, or
Now you're going to release along in the same year as the Ghost of Tsushima spinoff,
sequel.
Ghost of Yote.
Yeah,
So good luck with that, even though, Eve's being the politician and he says that there's room for both games to exist. Yeah, I'm sure that's
yeah,
right because I'm sure
yeah.
Ghost will come out in the summer, but
I'm sure he'll really say that when Assassin's Creed Shadows sells 1 million copies, and that Ghost of number 2 sells 9 million copies.
yeah, I mean, I don't, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm sure it will. I think this one being the feudal Japan one that people have wanted for so long, it will sell.
I
Well, it's the problem is it won't if it comes out janky and buggy and all that other kind of stuff. You got to make sure
I
you
I
have a immaculate game.
I think it'll sell marginally, but like the problem is you know even Assassin's Creed isn't what it used to be. I mean, they've burned people too many times,
Right.
and for every like good game, like I love Valhalla still. The next game is Mirage, which was terrible, or at least
Well, that
very
that was
mediocre.
them trying to see if they could basically have like two Assassin's Creed franchises at the same time. Like, let's
They
have the
tried that
lower budget
before.
one and the big one.
They tried that before, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? You're gonna try it again and have it also fuck up?" Like, good job.
When you've got to go all hard in on franchises, I mean, I guess they don't have a lot of options. And that's the thing, too. Star Wars was also a break glass game, and then y'all screwed that up by having it come out the way it did.
Yeah,
And then now you're going to try to do the repair job. And I know that that works for Ubisoft, especially because now I'm sure you can probably put it on some kind of sale and be like, oh, it's there for $40 or whatever, $50 or. And I'm sure you'll get more people to play it or buy it, especially, getting close to the holiday season and all that. But when you have to do Mia Copas all the time, that's not helping you. And it just makes you look bad to not just the hardcore gaming audience, the casual audience as well. Like there's a lot of people that probably got turned off by the way Star Wars came out.
right. Yeah,
And they may not give it the time of day, even if you say, oh, hey, it's fixed now or whatever. It's still at its core a game that maybe didn't fulfill all the promises that you kept making. So,
yeah.
but
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
I don't think they're necessarily doomed yet, but like I said, I wouldn't exactly be holding my breath if I was working there for any length of time more,
yeah.
especially if Shadows comes out and it's not good.
A lot of devs are saying that they're hoping this review does something, but they're more concerned that what it's going to mean is just layoffs
Yeah,
and not a
I'm
lot of
like,
changes.
I did see part of their
And yeah, go ahead.
they have like a settlement system in that game,
Mhm.
and it's like, wow, if it's like one thing I don't want to do in this game, it's that.
Yeah, you're not big on the settlement thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm sure that there'll be more about this down the line as we get closer to what would have been the release date and more stuff comes out. This is kind of like the first working day that this has been out there. So, like I said, go read Tom Henderson's report on Insider Gaming if you want more. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description there. But yeah, there'll be more about this as time goes on. And I'm sure there'll be comparisons as well now that you got the big announcement from Sony as well at the State of Play. Speaking of that, I guess let's go to them first. Technically, they're supposed to be before Tokyo Game Show started. But it was the big event the day before we recorded, or the day after we recorded the episode last week. The big announcement was, and we talked about they could show it possibly as like, you know, it's for the Japanese audience, but they did focus a lot of that in here. Is Ghost of Yote, which is technically a spin-off of Ghost of Tsushima. It's not it's a sequel, but it's not a sequel because doesn't have Jin in it. Jin's story is done. It's 300 years after Jin's story, set in the 1600s, and a different setting of Japan, which is Mount Yote is the thing they show at the end of the trailer, which is, you know, what it's named after. It has a female
protagonist,
main character instead, female ghost character instead, which obviously got the grifters again talking junk there about, oh, I don't want to play as a female character, and where everybody's going woke and all that stuff. And you actually had the person that's voicing and doing mocap for the character actually have to block people and everything for people being stupid.
Yep.
So what did you think of Ghost of Yote? You were like kind of mixed on Tsushima, right?
I think I've seen other people respond to it, and it's like at the time I think Tsushima was fine, but like I can't remember a damn thing about it anymore. Like the story was
Right.
so it's like not inconsequential, so it's like who cares, you know? I'm sure it'll be fine, and I get to chase around a lot of foxes and write a lot of poetry, but you know,
it looks like she's gonna have a wolf companion this time, so
yeah,
there's that too.
I don't know. I didn't care about that thing. The thing that interested me was that Lunar Remastered collection.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. They showed here Sean Benson.
This thing.
Yeah, Sean Benson came on and kind of was like, "Oh, we were remastering 2 classic JRPGs from the PS1 era," and I'm like, "Okay." And then, "Oh, Lunar, what? Awesome!" I'm really excited the fact that more people are gonna possibly be able to play these, and you know, I'm just glad that you can buy them now and not have to pay ridiculous prices for them on internet or whatever. Why are you?
I mean, they aren't
yeah,
that bad, but yeah. I'm a little, I wouldn't say hesitant, but I think I'm pretty sure they got to re-record all the dialogue in those games, or have like a new localization, which kind of bums me out.
Yeah, they did do voice acting there for that.
No, I'm not like from even like the PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay. Know what you mean.
But you know, I'll happily play those games and buy whatever dumb fucking limited run collection thing they put out that costs like $200.
They did show the Horizon remaster again, or the big rumor did actually happen. We didn't get the Days Gone one, but we did get the Horizon remaster. It will be $10 for those of you that bought it already. However, I'm pretty sure probably what happened is a lot of people that saw the announcement didn't for some reason own Horizon Zero Dawn already, and they were going on like a run buying it the night of the announcement. So Sony was very quick to pop the price back up of the original Horizon Zero Dawn or the collection up to $40. So now you would have to pay $50 if you bought Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered now, and then got or you bought the original and then bought the remaster, which would make it, I think, like 2 cents cheaper in the end, because the remaster is going to retail for $50.
Right.
So, yeah, it looks better. They redid a lot of the assets and the 3D audio and all that stuff. It basically made it into a PS5 game now. Hey, if you haven't played it before, I guess this is the best way to play it now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't need every game to look like. I'm happy with like Horizon Zero Dawn just being like a PS4 game, or you know, just staying where it is.
Apparently, Sony isn't.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if they do this with like, supposedly they're working on something that's not God of War related. For Sony Santa Monica, but let's say they were doing it like God of War 3 or something. I bet, maybe they'll even use the excuse of the fact that like if that God of War TV show does well, would they consider
This is a little off topic, but did you see the Astrobot guy, I think the director, talking about?
I was gonna get into Astro about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, talking about like, oh, we don't want to have Sweet Tooth in the game because he was like a negative character or he did evil things, and I'm like, yo, you got Kratos in this game. You got the dude from
but
Days
Kratos
Gone.
has been redeemed in this.
You got the guy from Days Gone in this game. You got plenty o killer. You got Solid Snake in this game. It's like you got plenty o killers in this game. No problem. Like, who cares? And you don't have to use Sweet Tooth. You can use Axel or one of the other stupid Twisted Metal characters. Like,
that's really interesting to me that he just flat out said that, considering like they have a reason to put him in. Like, there's a TV show going on with that
right
game. Like,
yeah, Sweet Tooth is more recognizable than like the robot from Jumping Flash, or some of this other bullshit in that thing. Like,
yeah, like that's
he has
weird.
Like an actual kind of interesting design, because you could have like the whatever robot who's playing him have like his head on fire. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they did announce. That was the first thing they announced on the State of Play, was that there is speedrun DLC that's going to happen, very much like they did for Playroom.
Yeah.
And that you're going to get new bots. So they showed the Helldivers bot and then Eve from Solar Blade bot. So, and then there's more of them there. So you'll have to find out which were the other ones, I guess, as you complete the speed runs. It's cool that they, Astrobot got his moment pretty quick there. So,
right. What about Concord, man? Come on.
Well, yeah. I wonder, they couldn't take it out of the Amazon one, but I wonder if there was ever a bot to have Concord bots or whatever in there.
The alien Michael Rooker bot.
Yes.
Or like the big robot bot.
Yeah. That would have been an easy one for them to do. For sure. Yeah, I loved was it Midnight Walk? Looked really interesting. The new game from the Lost in Random devs. That's PSVR 2 and PlayStation 5. I'm glad it's not only on VR 2.
Yeah.
So that looked cool. Anything else kind of stand out to you?
That Legacy of Kain thing got, confirmed, or they showed some of that.
Yeah, that had gotten leaked before the show, but it looks decent. It looks good for being a remaster. A lot of people are complaining about.
I'm partially complaining, like, because they showed off like the old assets and the new, and it's like the new that just cranked up the contrast quite a bit. And it's like, why does everything look so bright now? Like, what the hell?
Definitely.
What else?
Fantasian is getting a collab with Final Fantasy, where they're going to have Final Fantasy battle music in the game.
Of course.
So
this is a surprise. Oh, I think you were right. I think they only did show off 2 VR things.
Yep. They showed Midnight Walk, and then that the Metro Awakening. The Hell Is Us game looked okay. It's interesting that they're going the route of, we're just not going to handhold you at all. You're gonna have to find everything.
Oh no, I was right, because they showed off that Hitman game also.
Oh, the Hitman, yeah, that's right. 3. Right about that.
But I don't know. The more I see that Dragon Age game, the more I think it looks bad.
Oh, that did not have a good showing in here. That had the worst showing. That should have been a lot shorter. It took way too long. I don't know why they felt like they needed to spend like 6 or 7 minutes showing that.
Right.
And then the one that I kind of felt like we were just waiting for them to announce is, this is why Yoko Taro's been talking to the Shift Up dev
Yeah.
forever. They're doing a collab, and that's going to be the DLC for Stellar Blade along with the photo mode. So yeah, and you can also now stream the original soundtrack as well, which that's cool because I've been wanting that to show up on streaming so I can listen to some of that, at the gym or whatever. So
Sure.
yeah, do you like you're gonna play it now that you have Nier Automata DLC in here?
Stellar Blade?
Yeah. So,
No, probably not, because I imagine let's get like costumes or I want to actually be like a material addition to the
okay.
game.
You don't think it'll
Just be like,
be
oh, you can now you
anything
can
of
look at
substance? All right.
oh, it's like now you can look at now you can be like 2B or have some near music playing occasionally.
Fair enough. Yeah, I thought it was. I think it would have been a considerably not that great if they didn't have the Ghost of Yotai at the end. But I think having that made it a much bigger state of play than the ones we've gotten recently. So I thought it was a like a 7 or 8 show.
I guess 7. I mean, like I
Yeah,
said, they're all hyped up on Ghost of Yotai, but I was like, nope, Lunar. Let's show 5
yeah,
more minutes of that, please.
yeah, definitely. I don't know if it's just maybe YouTube compression or whatever, but I think this is where you're starting to see like the diminishing returns on graphics. Like I don't think it looked that much better than Ghost of Tsushima, really. Maybe
Right.
with the Pro you'd be able to see it, but
No.
no, I
Yeah,
just don't.
Yen's already sold his PS5 for the Pro
Oh, he did. He did. Okay.
to the point
He
like he
got
already
the Pro already? He pre-ordered it?
not the anniversary one, but he got a basic one. To the point
I
like
missed out on the controller like about 2 or 3 times. I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'll just wait till it hopefully shows up on Amazon on the actual date they said it was going to release and not,
right.
you know.
But he already
Uh,
sold his PS5 to the point like he already shipped it out, so he can't play games anymore.
oh man. Yeah, so he's got to wait till November 7th, I guess, to play
From Remnant
PlayStation
2.
games again.
Yeah.
Yeah, PlayStation 5 Pro has not sold the standard edition. The anniversary one sold out in seconds.
Right.
As expected with the limited quantity and then the scalpers and all that stuff. But the PS5 Pro is still there. You can go right now to the PlayStation website and buy it. I don't think that it's a bad thing that it's still available. I don't know what you think. Do you think anything
I
different?
think
Or?
it's a not surprising thing. Look at the price of
Yeah,
it. I don't think the price justifies what it's going to do, or what they claim it's going to do.
right.
And them going like, oh, you can see the reflections in Spider-Man 2, like 20% better.
You can
Like,
see the trees in Spider-Man if you look from a distance instead of
well,
Yeah,
me
if
congrats
I
for the
hadn't played
$100.
Rebirth before, I guess that would be awesome to be able to experience that the first time in the Pro.
Right.
They keep talking about that's like the best looking game out of the Pro right now.
Just remember, it didn't sell for shit. So moving on.
Yeah, according to Square. Yeah, so if you want to go buy it, you can. I don't think that it's a big deal that it didn't sell that much because it's a luxury item. It's people. I don't. It was like 10 to 15% of people's overall purchase of the PS4 Pro. So I'd expect the PS5 Pro with even more expensive and all that stuff. It's going to sell even less.
Yeah.
So. But all right, moving on to the Xbox event here. This was really Japanese focused. Even when they did show Indiana Jones, it was the fact that Indiana Jones is going to be natively voiced in Japanese, which is good because that was an issue when they came up with it of like, if you're going to put it in a language and you want it to sell in Japan, you definitely got to make sure that there's Japanese voiceover. So that's good on that front. They're the kind of the big one. We didn't get the one that I think a lot of people were hoping for, which was Final Fantasy 16 getting announced. For this, what did get announced was the remasters of the Pixel remasters, and they came
Right.
out that day. And then you also had Legend of Mana and Trials of Mana come out that same day on Game Pass as well. So yeah, you can go play those. Everything else was still Japan. They slowed more of that Slitterhead
Right.
game. A lot of focus on Altair Yumiya, which understandably, it's the first one that you're getting on the console, so I guess I was worried that they were just gonna the big thing, because they kept showing the main director guy constantly, and I kept thinking oh, is this gonna be the big blowout game that they're gonna showcase here? And then there was a couple minutes left, and they just kind of jam packed everything at the end. StarCraft Remastered, and that's coming to PC Game Pass as well. And then rumors came out from Jason Schreier's book, the Play Nice Blizzard book, which I have that pre-ordered. That comes out on the 8th. So I'm ready to get that book and delve into it. I have his other 2 books, and they were really informative and interesting. So, they are apparently possibly still in development. Another StarCraft shooter.
Third time's a charm.
Well, I mean, from somebody that's actually played
Ghost.
the Ghost.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, would you want one of those if it actually does come out? Or
I don't know. I maybe, but such a weird concept. Third person spy game, or sci-fi spy game. That might be cool, but it's not really been done before, at least as far as futuristic weapons and shit. I wouldn't count Chronicles of Riddick as sci-fi in that respect, at least. Maybe, but I just don't have a lot of faith in Blizzard right now. If it was dudes who made Titanfall 2, maybe, but not dudes making Overwatch 2.
yeah, I agree with that. They showed more Metal Gear Solid Delta, so
It actually would have been really nice, and actually would have gotten people excited if they said "Yo, we're gonna remaster Lost Odyssey ourselves. We're tired of this bullshit."
that's the hope that I don't think is going to come.
Right.
I think just getting, just getting Neo Dimension to be on, Fantasia Neo Dimension to be on there. I think that's the closest we're going to get from a Miss Walker thing.
That's just because that guy, I forget the guy's name, but he's insane. So
yeah. This Threads of Time game looked freaking awesome.
Yeah, actually, that was right up your alley too.
Yeah, super excited about it. When I saw this, I was like, yeah. I mean, I'd already kind of seen the dev talk about it on Twitter, so it's not like I'd not known about this game, but obviously influenced by Chrono Trigger and various other SNES and NES RPGs, and it looks great. So, yeah, This is going to be awesome when it comes out. I know, Sea of Stars, probably there's people that really love that game, and there's people that felt like it got overhyped a lot.
Right.
Especially because of the story they didn't deliver, I think, what people wanted it to be. So yeah. So I know there's trepidation with Western devs doing a Japanese style old school game and it not living up to that hype or whatever. But yeah, I mean, look, they showed a lot more than I thought they were going to. I thought they were gonna kind of rely on the games that, even though probably don't appeal to that audience, we're just going to show it because this is what's coming from Xbox. Outside of Fallout 76 getting pets, I think everything else kind of hit on that. They even show some Suikoden in there too. So
yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good show. A lot better than I think they've done in the past with TGS. So yeah, good
It
on
couldn't be
them.
much worse. Yeah.
No, I mean, but it does show like the fact that they got Square Enix back,
Right.
and if you listen to Yoshi P, it sounds like it's a matter of when, not if on Final Fantasy 16. They're just kind of like, he mentions the PC release just happened, and they're kind of like in that period where I think they're having to maybe if the PC release does well enough, it'll justify making the Xbox one, but it feels like they're gonna make it.
Yeah.
And they just gotta find the right time to announce it or whatever. It just I guess this one was too soon or
One,
something.
once they announce or once they show the trailer for Final Fantasy 17, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Final Fantasy 16's on the Xbox."
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's good on them too. Square Enix showed off most of their games that they already that like are still coming down the pipeline. A lot of stuff on Fantasia because they had Sakaguchi Uematsu there
Right.
talking, and they had a lot of Dragon Quest 3 as well, the remaster because that's coming out. That's where we got the info about the whole, they had to lower down the character, look at the characters and all that stuff. So yeah, the I think aside from that, like Tokyo Game Show, which was a pretty good event overall. The thing that came out of they did have an announcement with Sonic at the State of Play where Keanu Reeves
What are you talking about, man?
voicing Shadow. Yeah,
We forgot about the Sonic event or the big Sonic conference when he showed off a golfing club or the golf
yeah.
top
I
end
mean,
golfing
Top
bullshit.
Golf is doing so well that they're going to do a collab with Sonic. So
Yeah.
that's how you know things are going well, right? with Top Golf. Um, but I mean, they did announce that whole the DLC that's coming. I think like in November was it? With Keanu Reeves is going to be voicing Shadow
Right.
in the game, and then there's going to be some more
I
Shadow.
think that was.
Like,
I think they said like it'll only be like certain levels or it'll be like some Keanu
yeah,
pack or something.
it'll be a Keanu pack exactly.
So yeah, he'll voice like one mission and that'll be it.
Any thoughts on that at all, or
It'll still be a bad game. Moving on.
it's still be a bad game? Yeah, and they also did announce the first game. It involves Sonic as well. The first game with in conjunction with Robio. Yeah, then they bought Robio and everything. It is they've announced it previously already, but it's for iOS and Android. And they showed more of it on that Sonic Central thing, the Sonic Rumble, the 32-player battle royale. So there you go. You can play battle royale with Sonic. Mark, that's what you
Great.
always wanted, right?
I got a level 14 Big the Cat.
Yeah, that's what you want to play in there. But sadly, and I feel like just between Annapurna, there was another indie publisher that just like, the Humble Games with IGN, and now like Merge Games, which I think they were mostly out of the UK and because they worked a lot with like .mu recently as well, so they did the Streets of Rage for Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge, the Dead Cells stuff, but they've been operating for 15 years, and they only had a 22-person team working, and they have shut down. It sucks to see again like another indie publisher go down when you need these in this time where it's even harder for indies to get funding and all this stuff, or outside of Kickstarter, obviously.
Right.
And now it's like another one of these goes down, and a certain number of employees are laid off, and it's now been kind of integrated into Maximum Entertainment, which I guess that probably means whatever that studio is going to be doing or that publisher is going to be doing now. Won't be indie games, which sucks.
Yeah.
So sorry for all those people who lost jobs on that front. Is there anything else you wanted to
That
talk
Simpsons
about?
iOS game is finally ending after like
Yeah,
12 years.
tapped out. That's a licensing thing, I think, right? That is ending.
I mean, yeah. And did you see the Yakuza trailer that premiered a few
I have
hours ago?
not. I meant to. What do you
Okay.
think?
It was good. You know, showed off a lot of or not specific game moments, but like a lot of the characters from the games. It's like, yo, I recognize that mask, dude.
Yeah. That's coming next month, right? October.
Yeah, I think like late October or like mid October, maybe. I think it was like October 18th.
Yeah, they're coming out with like 3 episodes at once, and then the next 3 after. So
yeah, it's like that. Have you been watching either of that Penguin show or
I watched the first episode of Penguin. I haven't watched the second one yet.
Or that Agatha show?
Oh God, I forgot that's on. I'll have to go watch that now. The Penguin one's really good though.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Jens won't watch it just because he hated the Batman show so much. But it's like, well, he's not in this one, so I guess you're clear for that.
And Colin Farrell does great as Penguin. I mean, he's got the walk down. And
yeah, guess that's about it.
All right. Well, I mean, it's October, so usually like the heaviest month in the calendar is happening, and yeah, get ready because you're gonna have to make some decisions if you can only buy certain games here. You're gonna have.
Yeah, I'm buying Diablo and Metaphor. That's about it, probably for me.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely Metaphor. Now after I play that demo, I'm still thinking about whether I want to get Zelda or not. I'm going back and forth on that. I'm surprised you're not going to get Spark and Zero there, even though
that's because I know most Dragon Ball games are bad.
Yeah, yeah, but even if that game's is bad, it's probably still going to sell well. All things considered. You got that Mario Party Jamboree coming. I know that's the one Randy says he was looking forward to play with the family. I'm sure a lot of people were. That's going to be the Switch game of the month. So everybody's, and of course, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 towards the end of the month. Also, people will be lining up to buy that and then play it with their friends and all that stuff. So, yeah. Get ready. This is going to be the month of, and got East 10 Nordics. That's the other game I know for sure I'm probably buying unless a review code happens. Then you got Dragon Age at the end of the month. So got some stuff there coming throughout this month. But this week, you do have the Master Detective Archives Rain Code Plus, which is like the Series X and PlayStation 5 version of that game that was exclusive to Switch before. So that's coming out. Basically, it's out there on the 1st. Also thrown in Liberty, also coming out the same day. The big game for this week is the Until Dawn remake. That's coming out on the 4th. So, if y'all are a remaster, I'm sorry, or whatever they consider that. That's coming out. And also that Patrick Star game, also coming out the same day. So if you've been jonesing to play as Patrick Star, you could definitely do that. And then the week after, you get the Silent Hill 2 remake and Diablo 4, Vessel Hatred. So stuff's coming pretty much every week. There's going to be a big game for y'all to enjoy or us to talk about or something. So, yeah, until then, everybody, again, like, subscribe, follow if you enjoy what you watched or heard. We do appreciate you. Any of that stuff helps. I'll hopefully be able to get the clips out. Probably not today, but by Wednesday I should be able to get them out. And then, y'all can enjoy shorter versions of the topics here. But all right, we'll see everybody next time Peace.